Hi, Katzcradul here. It's Friday night, and I usually don't cook a very elaborate dinner on Friday night. Sometimes I make homemade pizza. Sometimes I pull some frozen hamburgers that we've grilled on the grill out of the freezer. But tonight I'm making chicken nuggets. I had 3 chicken breasts. I actually should say 3 half chicken breasts. Most of what we buy at the grocery store are half breasts. So I had 3 of those. And I've diced them up in pretty equal little portions that I would call nuggets, and I have them in this bowl. They've been washed and drained and are ready to accept some seasoning. You can find lots of recipes for nuggets on the web, and some of them are okay. A lot of them will show you to use a 3-step method where you dredge the chicken pieces in flour, then in beaten egg, then in your seasoned breadcrumbs or crispy coating, whatever. That's a big mess to me, and that's a big ordeal. Some will show you dipping them in buttermilk and then dipping them in your cracker meal or something, but that makes mushy nuggets to me. I'm going to show you a little different way. Here I've got cracked black pepper, some paprika, some garlic powder, seasoned salt, onion powder. I'm going to mix those together, and I'm going to use half of that on the chicken and half of it in the breading. I think you need seasoning all the way through your ingredient. I hope I listed everything there for you. I think salt, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, seasoned salt. I think I've got it all there. Mash it all together here. Get it good and combined. And then here we go. Here's half of it on the chicken. You want it well seasoned. And then almost the rest of it I'm going to put in the topping that we're using to coat the breast in. That you're looking at is cornmeal, whole wheat flour, and the seasoning. And what I do, this is more of a concept for you than an actual recipe, because I just look for things that would add a nice crispy coating. The cornmeal is nice, the whole wheat flour is nice. In this bag, actually I'm gonna dump all of it into this big Ziploc bag here. So there goes the cornmeal and the seasoning and the whole wheat flour. In this bag I found a little bit of Rice Krispies that Preheat had left. I crunched those up just by hand. I'm gonna pour those in there. If I wouldn't have crunched up the cereal in the bag, I could have just used one of those cereal bags, but I'm afraid I have little punctures in it, so I didn't. And this is just a little bit of cornflake. Now they can be stale, meaning they're not crunchy, as long as they're not old. You don't want to use them if they're old and they don't taste good. But if some of the life has gone out of them, some of the crunch, it doesn't matter, because we're going to put it in a hot oven and the crunch is going to come back. So I just mix that all up in the Ziploc bag, and when I'm sure it's coated, when I'm sure it's all mixed up, then I'm going to put my chicken in. I've lightly put olive oil in a 9x13 pan. This is less than a half of a stick of butter with about, between 1 and 2 tablespoons of olive oil in it. And I like those 2 combinations, and I think it's what makes the coating really crispy. If you dip it in buttermilk, the coating after it's out of the oven will get soggy and it doesn't taste good. This is more like frying, but you're not using nearly as much fat, and of course it's not deep frying at all. So the chicken pieces are going to go into that little bit of butter and olive oil to coat them. I'm just mixing up the seasonings here to make sure it really gets on the chicken. Goes right into the butter oil mixture. All of it'll go in there, and I'll get rid of that bowl, send it to the sink to be washed. And then should just toss the chicken lightly with my fingers to get each piece coated. Doesn't take but just a few minutes. A few seconds actually. Okay, and then a few pieces at a time into the bag. I think I do about 3 little batches here. And surprisingly enough, just with the 3 little chicken breasts, it's plenty of chicken with some left over as well. So I just use one hand for the chicken in the butter, and then the other hand coming out of the bag. You can see, a chicken breast has a thick end and a thin end. So even though you try to cut all the pieces the same the same shape, you will end up with some pieces that have a little thin piece, and I just tuck those under, and then it makes them about the right thickness. You want to get them as close to the same size as you can so that they all become done at the same time. So if you end up with a thin piece, just fold it in half and put it in your pan, and you can see they're pretty uniform. This is how they look when they've all been dredged in the crispy coating. And like I said, you could use anything for the crispiness. That bag now gets thrown away. You cannot reuse that, so toss that in the trash. Sometimes I put wheat germ in there. Sometimes I put crushed up saltine crackers. Just anything you think that will make it crunchy. Certainly any cereal that hasn't been sweetened, any grain cereal would be great. I put my oven on 425 because I don't want them to simmer in the oven. I really want them to get to form a crisp coating on them really fast. Here they are. One's gone. I had to taste it. And you see how nice they look. I have a speed bake feature on my oven, which allows the air to circulate all around the food very quickly. And these were done in about 10 minutes. In your oven, it may take 12 minutes, 13, 14 minutes if you don't have speed bake. So here's fast food at my house. A spinach salad left over from last night. Some corn that needed to come out of the freezer so I could make room for more fresh veggies to go in. I took that off the cob last year. And these nuggets require a kicked up little dip to go in, and that is horseradish mixed in a little sour cream. Absolutely delicious on those nuggets. The great thing about these nuggets, and you know if you've watched any of my videos before, I do not like chicken breast. But this is one of the few ways I really like it because it allows the chicken meat to retain the juices. It's not dry. The coating is absolutely delicious. They're nice and crispy and crunchy. They are really, really good. Let's go ahead and get Paladin Prepper over here and see what he thinks about them. Close to your mouth so we can hear you.
Oh, that's very good. I like that it's baked, and I also like the horseradish sauce. That's excellent.
How does it compare to a McDonald's nugget?
Oh, it's very tender, but it's homemade. You can tell it's homemade.
No comparison.
No comparison.
All right. There you have it. Preparate's out playing basketball. That's why you only see 2 plates, but she'll be in just a bit. Fast food my way. Hope you try it. When you come home and see those chicken breasts thawed on the counter and can't face the thought of making the complicated dish you were planning on making, cut them up, dredge them, and make delicious chicken nuggets so fast. About 10 minutes or 10 or 12 minutes is what it takes in the oven. So quick to prepare and so delicious. Let me know if you try it. Katzcradul.